Y'all thought Dalton was the answer? What do you mean Cowboys are still in first place? Since when did the NFC East turn into the NFC West from 2010? What is up, everybody? My name is Advance, and this is Advanced Sports Talk. So, I'm going to do something that I never do. I'm going to talk about the Cowboys first before I talk about the Bucks. That was a royal ass whooping that the Cardinals placed on them. Jerry Jones really thought that Dalton was the answer. I mean, yeah, he did good last week, finishing up what Dak did. But now, this week was a whole different story. Like, yo, did you forget all those years he was with the Bengals? Come on now. Come on, man. And Zeke was mad. Zeke was real mad. Yeah, but it's different, when you have a quarterback that's not respected, that's handing the ball off because he can't throw too good. They was like, oh, well, hey, all we gotta do is take away the passing lanes. How you throw the ball 54 times and still not win? Or still not get 300 passing yards? Kyler Murray only completed 9 passes. 9 passes. And they whooped him 38-10. 38-10, and that the Cowboys really only had 3 points, rolling all the way up through the end to the end of the game. They got that last minute touchdown in garbage time, and I know Jerry Jones. I bet any amount of money in my pocket, they thought that all that bull job during the off season, all Dak wanted was his money. He wanted some security. Now, he could have taken he had a deal, but the deal didn't work for him. So, I mean, hey, that's your quarterback. You work it out. They could have found another way to get him the money that he wanted without having to jeopardize the cap. But, man, so Jerry Jones, like, you know what? Not only are we going to not give Dak his money, we're going to franchise tag him. Okay, so you're going to pay him top 5 money. Hey, fine. Then you bring in Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton was gonna be that was y'all contingency plan? Yeah, this is gonna get Dak in line. Man, Jerry Jones probably sweating bullets as soon as Dak went down. I put a check on that. Right, sweating bullets. Like, yeah, this boy's doing pretty good. Dak goes down. Dalton will be alright, right? Right? Anybody? But yeah, if they don't win the game the rest of the season, that's exactly what the fuck they get. Jerry Jones don't care about black people. What did him in was they got done in by a team that benefited from another bad mistake in DeAndre Hopkins. Not saying that they shouldn't have taken him. That was a very good idea. But I'm talking about the Houston Texans letting them go and the coach getting fired ultimately for that decision, and the other bad ones that preceded it. Speaking of 38-10, I'm gonna talk about another team that smoked another team 38-10. My Buccaneers smoked the Packers. Battle of the Bays. Tampa Bay came out on top. It was touch and go for the first quarter. This was the exact flip of last game, where we had a really bad second quarter and then it just rode through the rest of the game and we just couldn't get right. This week, it was a bad first quarter. There was a couple of series where, Tom was doing 3 and outs and I looked like, all right, I don't know. I guess he came back. Second quarter was like analysis complete. Boom, started launching Patriot missiles all over the place. This was actually a more precision-like game with Tom Brady. He was throwing key passes here and there, but he only threw for 106 yards. Now, I expected that from Aaron Rodgers because once that second quarter hit, halfway through the second quarter, when he threw that pick 6, Aaron Rodgers collapsed. That I was not expecting. I wasn't expecting that at all. Like, I knew that the Bucs was going to win, and I knew the edge was going to be the defense. But I didn't expect Aaron Rodgers to just flat out collapse the way that he did. But hey, they have a bad game. So he threw a pick 6 to Jamel Dean. Coincidentally, it's the same. It was the same route that Tom Brady was trying to hit Justin Watson on when he threw his 2 pick sixes. And Jamel Dean came over, was like, thank you, took it to the house. And then it almost happened again. Not on the same route, but on the exact same, on the exact following series. Because, we scored, so we kicked the ball back off to him. So he's trying to throw it over the middle of the field. Ball gets tipped. Thank you again. And then they was like, oh no, we can't let you return this one, bro. So they tackled him at the 2-yard line. And then, like, from that, it was easy. Tom Brady, Gronk. Oh man, so that was a more precision game. Because even when you look at the score, you would say like, oh, well, Tom Brady had to have like over 200 yards throwing. Nah, 160. It was 166. Yeah, 166. Aaron Rodgers had 160 yards. Now that I expected. But yeah, Rojo went off. The weapons that they had I was more afraid of their passing game than their run game. Even though Aaron Jones is a beast, but I wasn't really concerned about the Packers run game because my defense is the shit. Worst case scenario, he gets 50 yards rushing. Best case scenario, we just take him out. Not seriously hurt him or nothing, but just put him out the game. I guess he got sat down at some point because he only had 15 yards rushing. Fact of the matter is, Bucks came out on top. The defense thoroughly confused Aaron Rodgers, and then we just dominated the rest of the game, and it was beautiful. Bucks on top, 38-10. Jimmy G is back in the league. LA Rams versus the San Francisco 49ers. At least they didn't have to do a lot of driving for that ass whooping. Jimmy G came back throwing 268 yards and 3 touchdowns. You can tell he was itching to get back. So now San Francisco is getting some of those players back that was that they missed in the first couple of weeks of the season. Now the tide is starting to shift. The Atlanta Falcons is proving that a head coach change was actually all they needed. They ended up stomping the Minnesota Vikings 40-23. Chicago Bears, after beating us last week, they did me a favor and beat the Panthers 23-16. Very low scoring game, but hey, that's what the Bears do. Well, Bengals versus the Colts. This game actually surprised me. They was down 21-0 and ended up fighting their way all the way back to beat the Bengals 31-27. Detroit Lions versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Detroit ends up winning 34-16. The team formerly known as the Washington Redskins versus the New York Giants. The Giants with a very slim victory of 20-19. Shaken Baker Mayfield got cooked by the Pittsburgh Steelers. I guess this is the Browns' bad game. Steelers ended up beating the Browns 38-7. All right, divisional matchup. Houston Texans versus the Tennessee Titans. The Titans ended up beating the Texans in final overtime, 42-36. Believe in the thrill. This was a true shootout. Both quarterbacks threw for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. Tannehill still pulled the victory out despite throwing an interception. It helps when you have Derrick Henry rushing for over 200 yards. Denver Broncos versus the New England Patriots. If this proves one thing, is to not let your quarterback get COVID. So this game was nothing to write home about. It was a very low scoring defensive game. Broncos beat the Patriots 18-12. The New York Jets versus the Miami Dolphins. Do I need to go into it? The Dolphins just straight bullied the Jets 24-0. Bit of news though. Ryan Fitzpatrick has been sat down and Tua has been named the starter. Not that Fitzpatrick has been playing bad, but hey, they had to get him going at some point. What I think it is that with Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's not necessarily a starter. He can get you like maybe a good 4 games, maybe 4.5. Anything out of that you get, count that as a bonus. But, hey, You know, he's a first round pick, so I mean, it was only a matter of time before the Dolphins started him. I'm very excited to see what Tua does as the season goes on. Roll Tide. Now for this game, it really hurt me to watch this because I enjoy both teams. The Philadelphia Eagles versus the Baltimore Ravens. You know, the Ravens visiting Philly. You know, I got hometown pride. Two of my closest friends are Eagles fans as well, so it was very dividing for me. So Ravens jump up 17-0 in the first half. And it just seemed like that Wentz was never going to get it together. It looked like, all right, well, chalk up another Eagles L. I don't know what happened in halftime, but he came out slinging. It was almost like he had that same switch that Tom Brady flipped in the second quarter of the Bucs game. But, you know, all in all, the Ravens ended up beating the Eagles 30-28. Wentz pretty much brought them all the way back down from 17-0. To be able to do that against that defense is very impressive. So everybody should be giving Wentz the hand clap. Only Kansas City could put points up on the Ravens like that, to the point where like high scoring, and you know the Ravens almost lost. Positive notes. We now know that Philadelphia can score. When you take a look at the list of injuries that they had, the Eagles can open up their own clinic right next to the 49ers. That's how many injuries they had. Missing offensive linemen, all three of their top receivers, the tight end. Ertz went down in this game, but I tell you this, Travis Fulgham has held them down. Last 3 games, yeah, he's holding it down. Man, that's for sure. And they talking about D-Jax is coming back for the Thursday night game. So I don't know what's gonna happen. And last but not least, I guess this was supposed to be the Thursday night game, but they didn't have no Thursday night game for some reason. So the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Buffalo Bills. That game had some exciting moments. You know, Patrick Mahomes threw for 225 yards. Seemed like Josh Allen couldn't get himself going. Didn't look like he was really comfortable for this game. But everybody gets a bad game. You know, you're owed a season. But even still, with the game that he played, they still had a chance to win. It wasn't really until the Chiefs kicked that last field goal where it was pretty much out of reach for them. And they only had like maybe 3 minutes left, and they could only, you know, what can you do in that? What can you do with, in that time, and you only have time for one possession? And it also didn't help that they threw a pick at the end of the game, which pretty much ended it. That's it for this episode of Advanced Sports Talk. My name is Advanced, and I'll always continue to be. Please like, share, and subscribe. Y'all be safe out there. I'm out.